Hey everybody, TBC here. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be looking at our time lock progression servers and why do they keep starting in Classic, and what are some of the options out there, and would they be popular if a server started in a later expansion, and what would it change? But first, just wanted to give a huge shout out to our channel members. Thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot and it helps me keep making content for everyone to enjoy about this wonderful game of EverQuest. If you're interested in becoming a member, hit the button down below. Of course, appreciate any like and subscribe if you could to the channel. Again, it really helps me grow and it's very much appreciated. So today's video, like I said, we're looking at the TLP expansions and why we always like to start in Classic, and some of the benefits and drawbacks of maybe starting with different expansions. So grab your epic, grab your fungi tunic, and let's dive right in. Firstly, if we were to look at the list of TLP servers there's been in recent times in EverQuest, we have Agna, Aradun, Kornav, Mangler, Mischief, Oakwind, Ragefire, Rizlona, Thornblade, Veniki, Yelnak, and they're just the servers that are still going. Of those, every single one of them, bar Veniki, started in Classic. Now why is that? Now the standard approach to their TLPs is opening TLP with only the original expansion, the Classic experience. It takes place all the way back to the roots of EQ to offer them the purest experience without kind of any additional content. So it's typically a slower pace of leveling, more community interaction. The guilds are certainly more centralized, the player base is more centralized because they're not as spread out across the world, and it's more of a focus on that leveling and those original experiences. So opening with the original content provides a sense of nostalgia that's honestly it's hard to beat. It's so much fun starting on a brand new server at level 1 in Classic. It allows players to really relive the magic of discovering the Wrath way back in 1999 for the first time and really truly appreciate the game's mechanics. But this isn't the Classic experience that we all remember. A lot of people don't have the time to spend on the game that we spent way back when. The experience rates are so much faster. The UI is vastly different and improved. How the game runs, very different. How the game even looks is all very different. And there's mechanics that have simply been changed that honestly weren't even in place a few TLPs ago, like the quality of life enhancements that we get. And I'm talking the extended target window, threat meter, experience pots, the list goes on. We have so much quality of life improvement now that you can't call this a Classic experience, because it isn't. You know, if you want a more true Classic experience, you're looking at P99, which again isn't an exact copy of how the game was back then, or another EQ EMU server, and there are certainly some out there that are working to try and really emulate it back to that 1999 experience. So what draws players back if it isn't for how it was in 99? And it purely is that nostalgia factor, to go back and see Nagi, to see Lady Vox, to go to Plane of Sky, although a lot of people really don't like that one, or go up to Hate and Fear with a guild. And I think that's what really drives people to want to play these servers in Classic. I think there is a very large player base out there that simply will not play a TLP unless it starts in Classic, or maybe kunark, but we'll see about that one. You know, there's so many people that perhaps just quit as soon as Scars of Velious is done because they don't like how the world changes in Lucklin when we get like the spires that just shrink the world so much more with the Nexus. And it's a real shame, because even if a server started in kunark, Velious or Lucklin, it really opens up a very different leveling path. Say for example you were to start in kunark, you'd have level 60 enabled right from the get-go, epics will be available right from the get-go, Ixar as well, and a lot of people really want more races to be available right at the start. It's something that they've not been able to do as of yet. But a server which started in kunark, which I don't think they've done today, and it opens up level paths. think Cairns, Field of Bone. You think Dalnir, Howling Stones. Yeah, these are zones that really only see very limited use for people doing quests, or to kill 1 or 2 mobs, get spells, or so on. Or even a velious launch. There's some really good velious zones that see very little play. Tower of Frozen Shadows, Crystal Caverns. These are great leveling zones that just simply don't see much use because there's very few people leveling or willing to go out that way. If they are leveling, they stick to their tried and true formula, or they're being power leveled up, which is a real shame. And I think a server starting kunark or velious would be really interesting because, I mean, let's face it, there isn't a lot to do in kunark to begin with. It's a very dry, slow expansion. Gear is practically the same. All the best gear probably still comes from a lot of classic, even group loot for some classes. It really doesn't add all that much more to the game. A few dragons that you kill, Vishan's Peak, that's kind of it in terms of what to do. And you know, we're still in kunark on Oakwind, and we're not even halfway through, and I have literally nothing I need to do. My character's majority in best in slot play, maybe apart from 1 or 2 pieces that I need from VP. Other than that, I'm done. But if we were to start in kunark, you know, that would change the gear path, it would change the leveling path. I think it'd be really interesting. Looking now at a Lucklin start, now that changes things a little bit because we have the spires, which instantly make the world smaller, although it doesn't make it massively smaller. Bear in mind, these only go every like 15 minutes, so people still get ported around everywhere. But we have a central hub where people will chill out that isn't the Commons Tunnel, and that's the Nexus, the Bazaar. And it makes buying gear that much easier. No longer are you buying, selling in the tunnel for hours on a time, because we have the Bazaar, we have traders. So that, again, is a quality of life improvement for a lot of people. But not only that, we have to remember as well that Lucklin came with a new race, the Vashia, people forget about them, and Beast Lords, a very interesting class that, again, if they're in from day one, I'm sure a lot of people will play. And maybe they're not the strongest in Lucklin, a lot of these new classes never are on the first expansion that they're in. But again, it would open up all those zones that people typically, again, might not always go to. Sure, Paludal Caverns will always see play because that zone's Zem is absolutely insane, but there's a whole continent in Lucklin that majority of people just skim through, get the VT shard and leave as soon as possible and stick to SSRA, Grieg's End, and so on to farm A's. But I really do think starting in Classic and gradually unlocking expansions, players get more of an opportunity to, one, relive the progression as it was back in the day, with each expansion bringing new challenges, classes, zones to explore and so on. And we really foster a sense of community within our guilds. You tend to work together to overcome the new raids and challenges, just like you did when these expansions were first introduced. So it's really a chance to bond over these kind of shared achievements and experiences every 8 or 12 weeks. But of course, you know, again, the drawbacks, you know, going back to Classic, it's the same old route with the same old zones, and it really might start to dilute that nostalgia factor when you're doing it all again. We're a small community, there's only so many times that we want to start again, so that old school charm and catering to the preferences of players today, it's getting old. But if we were to stray too far from that, would we then start to alienate some players who really want to have this kind of Classic experience? In the end, I think Daybreak have a choice between opening servers in Classic or in different expansions. Really honestly boils down to their preference. They've shown they're willing to try to start servers in later expansions. Arguably one of the most successful TLPs, at least for a very short time in Celos, started in Lucklin. People were tanking SSRA in cloth armor and things like that. It was a lot of fun. So, you know, whether you're a hardcore veteran and you're looking for the kind of classic grind, or a new adventurer looking for a more polished experience and level curve. Yeah, I'd like to think that the TLPs do offer something for everyone. And no matter the approach, the magic of kind of exploring the world of Narath and forming bonds with guildmates remains really at the center of why we keep coming back year after year to EverQuest to play on these servers. So there you have it, folks. There's some of my thoughts about why we are always starting in Classic and maybe not in a later expansion. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Which approach appeals to you more moving forward? Are you sick of doing Classic year after year after year with no change? Would you be open to maybe starting in Kunark or Velious or Lucklin, or even later in Gates of Discord, for example, or Dragons of Narath? Why not? Again, if you like the video, please feel free to hit that like and subscribe for more content regarding this game. So until next time, I'm the kunark, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.